Hope you guys enjoyed that intro. I spent months creating this. And the reason why I went all out on this one particular cigar is because I really reviewed the double Corona, meaning I broke down every single thing that there is to be broken down about the Year of the Dragon. There's going to be an annotation on this corner that's going to be like a little question mark, or no, there's going to be a little exclamation mark. You're going to see it open like that. This is open. You see this? That was my Year of the Dragon review, which surprisingly is the most viewed Year of the Dragon review from anybody, which you guys blow my mind. Other than the amazing people from Davidoff London, there's no other channel that comes close to the views I had from that one, which from me recording this video, I'm about 200 views away from having 10,000 total views on that review, which is just mind-boggling to me. And I just hope you guys enjoyed me as a person. For obviously, there's a lot of people who clicked on that video that had never seen me before, so hopefully they're entertained. If you are a person from that previous video, you're clicking on to this one, thank you. Just thank you. We're just gonna go straight into this. Everything you want to know about the cigar, I think the annotation that I was pointing at before, because we're gonna go deep dive into this review and only do the review. I still have a bunch of double Coronas left. That tastes splendid for the cold draw. But just in case there are people out there who just don't like double Coronas and just want to watch this video, you will enjoy the review I did, because in the beginning part, I just broke down the cigar. There's 8 different tobacco leaves that's been aged, and if you combine all the aged tobacco into one bundle, then they deemed it as 60 years. It's just a way for them to get like, ooh, and ah, it sounds cooler. The 60-year aged tobacco aged cigar, that sounds cool to say, but in reality, some tobacco could be 4 years old, 5 years old, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, whatever just gets the combination of 60 years. That's what this is. Some might be 10 years old, some might be 11, one might be 3. It's just 8 tobaccos that were all blended together and formed this little tornado, and in combined total was 60 years. It also has the foot of the cigar is exposed. This is called the Gran Toro, and I guess the only bit of new information I can give you is just the Vitola of the cigar. So this is a 6x56 Gran Toro, or Toro Extra. Like I said in my last video of the Year of the Dragon, there are only 600 boxes of these made. The MSRP of the cigar is $89, which, damn. But 600 boxes, each box consisting of 24, meaning the MSRP of the box, which is a whopping $2,136 for a single box of these Gran Toros. Luckily, I have friends that are nice and gave me one for you guys to watch me review. So it's an honor. Smoke one if you have one, also known as Eric, which he's in the description. Please follow him. Let me do something that he can't. So this was recorded about a month ago, and somebody got something. Let me show you. So yeah, he can do it now. Eric, fuck you. That really resonated. So the resonating resentment I'm gonna get after this video goes live, even though this video was gonna go out in 2023, but that intro took me so long because coming up lyrics that mimics Pokemon. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. Woo. Ever since the release of the Year of the Dragon, with me actually smoking it, a couple months after its release, there was a lot of hype behind it because of the presentation. You had the cutter, the lighter, the boxes, the humidor. You have all these elements that made this cigar look extremely desirable. But there's been a lot of mixed reviews of the actual taste factors and stuff like that, and especially it being behind this prestigious brand called Davidoff. Was the double Corona, that variation, better than any other Davidoff I've ever had? No. I had Davidoff that was better. Sometimes people put this brand on a pedestal and critique them a little bit harder, which is fair. If they're known for being prestigious and they're known for doing certain projects and this and quality price points, which is true. This is an $89 cigar. I get it. You're a little more harsh and critiqued about it, which again, I state is fair. Definitely gives me a different feeling than a double Corona. This has more flavor. This definitely has more flavor. Like right now, I'm not at the wrapper yet. I'm still at the open exposed foot. And you get all this earth, all this pepper, woodsy, some type of like spice, like tea, herbal, some type of element to it. Now I'm tapping into, I'm tapping into that wrapper. The wrapper has this very nutty element. I'm gonna give it like roasted nuts, like hazelnut. It's like I just came back from Halloween with my parents after going door to door in the nicest area in my state. The nicer the area, the better the candy. And I just got home and I opened the bags of licorice, of these creamy chocolates. Then you have the little snack on the side where my dad will open up this jar of this peanut with a monocle and a top hat, and in front of it is salted roasted nuts. So that's what I'm enjoying after I just got home from Halloween. This is what I'm getting just from this part. Yes, it may have been a while since I actually enjoyed the double Corona of the Year of the Dragon, but one thing I can say is this has more flavor. Christmas just passed. Smoking this cigar with this first third of the cigar, only thing I'm like picturing in my head is just this part of the song. And play it for literally 5 seconds. That's the amount YouTube allows you to play music. 5 seconds. Smoking this cigar paints this picture in my head.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That part. Chestnut roasting on an open fire. That is what I'm getting a lot of. You have that woodsy oakness to it because of the fire. You need the woods in the fire pit or fireplace in order for you to roast chestnuts. And the taste factor, which is very nutty. Chestnuts. Then you have this earthiness to it. You know, there's a little cream aspect to it. Like you're sitting down by that fireplace with most likely maybe a cup of milk. Sit back, imagine that. You're in your living room, you're watching your TV, You have the fireplace, you know, with sticks of roast nuts roasting right there, just to give aroma to the house. And you're just sitting back, drinking a nice cold cup of milk. And you look outside, you see snow, and it's just bliss. That's what I'm getting. Now I am approaching the second third. That honey is ever so sweet. Ever so sweet. Last time when I smoked a double Corona, I couldn't pinpoint one note, and that being citrus. I hate myself. The reason why I hate myself is because I know citrus. I know orange and all that kind of sorts. But I also blame my mother for me having a lack of citrus in my life. Reason I say that is because growing up, I grew up something called poverty. And in poverty, you buy things in bulk, like Costco's or Sam's Clubs and those kind of stores. Growing up, my mom bought orange juice and orange juice and orange juice in bulk. So for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, from the times I could even remember, like the earliest memories I have from me being like 4 years old to maybe close to 10 years old, breakfast, orange juice. It was a Hawaiian punch orange juice. To lunch, orange juice. And then dinner, orange juice. So I'm all oranged out. And ever since me growing up, I kind of swore off anything orange. So when I did that review, it was a flavor that brought back memories, but I suppressed it. So that's why I couldn't catch that other flavor note. And when I did the background, after I finished the review and looked everything up, that's when I figured out, damn, it was sweet honey, citrus, and white pepper. Oh, that tastes so good. And I love honey. And I get that in this. And especially in this Gran Toro, I can understand why it's $89. And never mind. But I can understand why this is priced higher than a double Corona, because there's way more flavoring in this one compared to the double Corona. So this packs more flavor compared to the other one. But if you just want to taste I wouldn't say a fraction, but if you want to taste a maybe 60% version of this, then the double Corona is your pick. You still get the flavors, you still get a lot of stuff, but this has way more impact with flavor than the other version. When I read the background for the second third possessing white pepper, right now I'm just getting citrus and the honey. The white pepper, even with me doing retros, I'm not getting that peppery tingling sensation that you usually get with any peppers or spices. I'm just predominantly getting the honey and the citrus. Yeah, the first start of the cigar felt more like a Christmas morning or a Christmas night with chestnut roasting on a lit fire, the nice cup of cold milk. Then now it transitioned into a herbal tea, leaning towards the citrus and the sweetness coming from the honey. I know I'm getting close to the last third of the cigar, and unlike the double Corona, the second third, that first third of the third, yeah, the first third of the second third had a lot of that citrus and honey. Now I'm definitely 50% into the cigar. I'm getting close to the last third, and the flavor kind of dulled down a lot. You know, I'm still getting very remnants of that honey and that citrus. I'm getting a lot of just regular tobacco. It's still perfect when it comes to construction wise. No issues, nothing arise, anything. But unfortunately, this aspect and this part of the cigar is kind of like flavorless, which is odd. because with the double Corona, the second third, the whole entire thing, it would have bursts of that honey. It will also have that burst of that citrus or that fruit that I got, which was citrus, but it still gave me a little bit more oomph with flavoring. This one was an oomph for the first third of the second third, then it just died down. That first third was simply amazing, honestly. Now it's just bland. Hopefully when it gets to the chocolate element, it blows me away. If not, I'm finally at the last third. I'm just starting to get the chocolate. And I don't know. I honestly just don't know, because it doesn't feel the same. Like, I know I did hype up the double Corona, but I feel like this one is slightly, unfortunately, disappointing. For $89, you would think you would be getting a whole bunch of pop to flavors, and that first, very first third was simply amazing. It brought back that feelings of being at, just hanging out on a Christmas night. Then, that honey popped in and I was, ecstatic for it. But after it got to the halfway mark, it just skyrocketed down. Like, I taste the dark chocolate, but it's ever so faint. Like, this is my first cigar of the day. When I do my reviews, I don't smoke anything in the morning. I don't do anything. I want to make sure my palate is as fresh as possible so I can taste every component into a cigar. This, nothing. Even with that retro, the very tail end is when I start getting the flavors, but nothing before that. Is this a good cigar? Yes. Is it worth the $89? No. Is double Corona good? Yes. Is it worth the $59? No. This deserves the same placement as the other standard production cigars, which goes towards the 20 to 30 MSRP bracket. I get the cool factor about it. 8 different tobaccos, age for a combined total of 60 years. That's a cool factor. I like that, which I can understand why the price point is at its price point. They're using very old tobacco. But, I did my best because I do have reviewer friends such as Soy Sauce Assassin, Smoking When You Have One, Cigar Side Chats, the Cigar Collective. These people also reviewed the cigar and they gave it a medium rating, with Cigar Collective being a rank C. And I also think it may be the same thing where age will do it better. I hope that's the case, because at the moment, I don't know. It got stale and boring towards the end. That first half was great. The double Corona definitely had way more flavoring towards the last third compared to the Toro. So if I have to say, double Corona is way better for the half on, and Toro is better from the foot to the halfway mark. I just wished for, especially these price points, they would have cultivated it to be perfect, or at least near perfect, where the whole way through is just amazing. But unfortunately not with this one. Let me get into my 3 typical rating based. For experience, I'll give it an 8. Presentation, especially with the Toro box that was displayed by Soy Sauce Assassin when he reviewed it, check it out. I'll have that in my description. Presentation is phenomenal. I love the box, especially the one I have for the double Corona. So the experience opening the box and just be amazed and all that kind of sorts, and then the band, everything being gorgeous, that's a solid 10 for me. But with the flavor notes and everything to it, that brings me to like a 6. 10 plus 6 divided by 2, this is an 8. So that's my experience. With taste notes, I'll give it a 7.5. I'll give the taste notes 7.5 because that beginning aspect was great, but then it just dropped tremendously for me. So I'll give it a 7.5 because I would love to constantly relive that roasted nuttiness, that oakiness, the cream. I would love to relive that over and over again. That first half, but then the honey kicks in. I love that. You know, I would love to come back to that as much as I can. This final half is a flop for me. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. For construction, it's semi breaking apart. Not too sure why. It was dry aged, and when Eric, smoke one if you have one, when he sent it to me, it came in perfectly humidified. Wrapper came off flawlessly. Nothing got stick together. I know he did his part on keeping the cigar very protected and hydrated and all the other elements that goes into a cigar's temperature and humidity. When it came to me, same thing. Had it in my humidor for a little bit, then I put it in my dry box and let it be. So for construction, I'm gonna give it a 7. And overall, I guess the cigar would be a 7.5. So if you go by grading systems, just how the Cigar Collective does it, 75 means a C. So I'm with it with the C. It's still a amazing cigar. I just think it needs age. That's the main problem with the cigar. And I think if they would have waited for the actual year of the dragon mark, which is now this year, to release it instead of waiting until the very end of 2023, if they would have released it a quarter of the way of 2024, I think it would have been a better experience or a better cigar. That's an additional 6 months of aging, or 5 months, give or take. But that's my thoughts on the cigar. This has been Davidoff Year of the Dragon Gran Toro. It's still an ash, but it's not a phenomenal ash. I think with time it will improve. But as for now, this is a 7.5, a C tier cigar. Until next time, guys, I love your faces, and I'm out. Peace.